Hi everyone, it's Vickie Kello, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane. Why is that not working? That's better. Now I've got some light. Hopefully that stays on. Hopefully I have enough charge in my iPad for it to come up. It's charging. I'm a couple of minutes early. So hi Kerry. Hi Marie, hi Glenda. I'm just waiting for my iPad to come up. Come on. It's registered that I've gone live. Can I see me though? Oh, I haven't changed my host code. It's the 1st of the month. It's done it again. Hi Elizabeth. Am I seeing any comments? No comments, no nothing. Oh, I really need to get a new iPad, I think. Hi Lisa. Pinch and a punch. Yes, Glenda. Hi all. Hi Marie. Right, I can see you on the computer. I'm not seeing you on the iPad. That's not working. I can see a blank video and no comments. So when I see comments on the computer that are even more delayed than normal. So let's unplug that. Hi Jackson. Hi Sandy. All right, so tonight I thought I would show you one of the free celebration sets. Thanks for sharing, Marie. Oh, I need to do the lucky door prize. So it was Rose Wolf. As she's in Florida, I can't send her product, but I can send her a card and things. So usually my lucky door prize winners get like some paper or some embellishments and stuff that I've got in my drawer of giveaways, but because Roz is overseas, I can't send that to her, but I can post her a card. So that's what Roz will be getting. So to get in the draw for next week, you need to like, share, and comment on my video, and you can go into the draw. So, and for those that are doing my Flowers of Friendship class, or Friendship of Flowers, I think it's Flowers of Friendship, those class packs got posted today. So they will be well and truly ready for the class. Hi Helen. So this is a free celebration item that you get. It's a level 2 item, which means it's free with an order of $180 because you get a pack of paper plus a stamp set. So the paper is pretty cool as well. It's very flowery, but the back side of it has got some pretty patterns. So I sat on the weekend and I fussy cut a whole pack of this paper, a whole piece of this paper. So So I've got these flowers cut here because they all come from that piece, and I sat there and fussy cut them. And then this sheet, let me get to it. This sheet here, I sat and used my rectangle postage punch, and punched out. So the first row doesn't really work, but the next row does. So if you cut it really finely, and you can get all these little postage stamps. Hi, Megan. With the flowers in them. So this is what I did for one of the ones that are closer to the top. So it's just smaller than the other. So I still stuck the postage stamp in, and then I just punched it again at the end. So it's a little bit smaller. But most of them you will get, and that in the middle, you can make sure they're in the middle, so that you can then just put these on cards and make it so easy. But, so I found that idea on Pinterest. It's not mine. I can't remember whose it was, but I thought it was amazing. So that's with this. This is from the free celebration pack. So if you have this punch already, that goes with this pack quite well. And you don't have to sit there and fussy cut. These smaller ones are they'd be a bit painful to fussy cut. But on the postage stamp, they look pretty awesome. So this is the free paper from Celebration, Megan. So it is called Wonderful World, and it comes with this stamp set. So you do need to have an order of $180 because this is considered a level 2 item because you get the 2 things. So this stamp set's pretty cool too. But yes, so I thought I would use this tonight to make some cards. So my first card is this. So I have all the pieces here. Where did I put that? So I got inspired for this card from this card that I made a few weeks ago with the Stamping Up demonstrator event for the Splendid Day suite. So I thought that I would try something like that on here, and this is what I came up with. So I'm going to just get a bit of scratch paper. I feel like I need to sneeze. Excuse me. I'm just gonna pop that over there. So this is Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and I'm just going to, now with this one, I'm going to change up the flower that I'm using in the background. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Where's my blocks? And with this one, I did full strength Pear Pizzazz on the Pear Pizzazz cardstock. I think it's a bit dark, so I might stamp off this time. The other way you could do that is probably getting your Versamark ink and stamping with Versamark. Actually, I might do that because some people might not have seen that. So when I first started with Stamping Up, my very first ink pad was Versamark because it is so versatile on coloured cardstock. So if you stamp in Versamark and stamp on coloured cardstock, it gives you, I don't know whether you can see it because the light, if I turn it that way, it gives you like tone on tone, but it's such a subtle image. Whereas if I do it, do I have a scrap of Pear Pizzazz because I don't want to ruin my card. If I do it with Pear Pizzazz, so that is full strength, that is 2nd generation stamping. And then let's, hi Anita, clean that off so we don't get any marks on our I didn't put my spray away. There it is there. Clean that stamp, and then we do Versamark, and it's hi Carrie Ann. It's more of a subtle, so that's full strength Pear Pizzazz, that's 2nd generation, and then that's Versamark. So my very first ink pad that I ever bought was Versamark, because you could use it on any coloured cardstock and you didn't need all the colours in the world. So when you first start out, Versamark is fine. That was my first ink pad for many, many months. So we'll just use Versamark on here to give a more subtle image than the first card that I made, or the first sample, so you can see the difference. And I've also just changed up the flower. So we're just going to shut that ink pad. Do you need to dry the Versamark or does it stamp dry? It stamps dry. It does stay sticky. So Versamark is a really sticky ink. It does stay sticky for a longer time. So that's why I'm stamping now. And then I will add stuff to the card a bit later, but I'll just put that to the side to dry. By the time I come back, it'll be ready. It'll be fine to do that. All right, so then we've got this piece of just Whisper Basic White even. And what we've done here is just using the blends to scribble a bit on the background. You can't notice it as much because I've got such a big image on here and then the sentiment. But with this card, we started with the pool party and went light pool party, dark pool party, light fresh freesia, dark fresh freesia. This one, I'm going light daffodil delight, dark daffodil delight, light flirty flamingo, dark flirty flamingo, because they're the colours in the paper behind. I did try initially, I think I threw it out, the Starry Night, which is this colour, and Blackberry Bliss, because we don't have rich razzleberry, but the blends were way too dark, and so I threw that out. So I suggest you look with lighter blends, and so you just use the brush tip end and you just kind of scribble. Doesn't have to be perfect. Back and forth. Then go dark. Use the side of the brush tip. Doesn't have to go right to the edges. Oh. I need a new light flirty flamingo. So, just going over that a few times because this is nearly dead because I have used it so much. And then the dark one. And then I need the stamp set back. And I used the leafy image in this one. I might stamp this leaf image this time to just change it up and use different stamps. And so you obviously want to stamp the yellow in the yellow, and you want to stamp the flirty flamingo in the pink. And you kind of just stamp randomly. I stamped 4 times on this one. but then my image covered up some of them. So I'm just stamping first, and then we'll see where the image covers it up or not. Did we all have a nice weekend? Oh, I've lost that stamp now. All right, so that one is done. And then we kind of just put that on an angle and stamp that, or put that one on straight. So I'm going to get my seal. Am I seeing comments? Oh, hi Marnie. I did have a nice weekend. It was a busy weekend. Hunter is a bit cranky with the dentist because the dentist told him he would lose his tooth over the weekend and it hasn't happened. So the dentist doesn't know what he's talking about right now. But this front tooth is got to come out soon. So pop that on there. Now this is the image that I am using for this card. I'm in love with this punch. I love the fact that it's one punch and it does the layering plus the sentiment. So I've punched the bits of the cardstock, the strip that I couldn't really get the nice pictures of with the other punch. I've then punched the back pieces for these so that you get the bit of the floaty flamingo come through again. And then because this free stamp set doesn't have any sentiments on it, I've chosen to use an oldie because I wanted to make sure that the stamp set fit. Where did those lines come from on the layer you used? Just use your blend. These lines here, Megan, they're the little leaf that I stamped here, just to give some stamping. So I stamped this little image here. On my last card I stamped this one, but this one I thought I'd stamp this one, just to give it a bit of something. So I wanted to choose a stamp set that I knew would fit in this oval punch because it's amazing. And I thought I could get a start on making some Mother's Day cards because I thought these, which will be for next year, I know, because we haven't even had Father's Day yet. But I could add to my pile because I obviously don't have any left, and I thought this paper would work a treat for Mother's Day. So I'm going to get my Pierce mat. Missing too much. That's okay. And we're going to stamp in Flirty Flamingo. And my ink pad's all a bit funky in the side there because I've been colouring with my Wink of Stella directly into my ink pad. So don't stress, my ink pad's fine. It's just because I've been too lazy to put the ink on the block and I'm doing it straight from the ink from the thing. Hi Laura. So, put that away. And then, where'd my seal go here? Just a bit of seal onto this bit. And then, we're going to pop that image up. And then I got some of these sparkly organdy ribbon. I can't remember what this is called. This is in the annual catalogue. I just love this. It's so pretty. I've cut way too much. I'm going to stick that just behind the sentiment. So let's get some dimensionals. I know, Laura, can you believe it? I just thought I'd show this paper because I wasn't too much of a fan of this paper. I didn't mind the stamp set, but I didn't originally like the paper. But when you get it and you see the other side of it, it's not too bad. And then I sat there yesterday and fussy cut all the flowers out. So I thought, well, we'd use up some of those. So get a start on Mother's Day cards for next year. I want to finish making the Father's Day cards maybe next weekend with the He's the Man suite. Use up the rest of that paper. And I've got a couple of the Father's Day cards left from that kit. So I want to use them too and get them ready to give the school. Trying to be a bit organised. Okay, I'm going to stick this down here because on my last card I had to cut the stem off because it looked funny when it was popping out the bottom. I want to cover it. Yes, the dies would be amazing if they had some, Laura. All right. I think I'm going to stick another dimensional under that. It seems to be sinking a little bit. Oh, where's my pokey tool? There we go, that's better. And then I did use one of these leaf trinkets from the Splendid Day suite. And just pop behind there. So this was my sample and this was my card I made tonight. So you can tell the difference with the background. Like this one I stamped with Versamark and this one I stamped with Pear Pizzazz, so you can definitely tell the difference. But in this one I think it's a bit too dark, so I think I prefer second generation stamping or the Versamark because it's just a subtle, not so dark image. So that's our first card. Ready? The second card is this one. The dark does stand out, Sandy, so it's each to their own. So this one is using those post-it notes, the postage stamps that I punched out of that other pack of DSP, and I just chose two that are the same and then are complementing one for the middle and things. So yeah, and then the back of this paper is the back of that cutout sheet where, well, the flowers that I cut out for all the other images. So if you're going to cut out all the flowers, then you won't have this paper. So if you want to cut out all the flowers from both sheets of paper that you get in the pack, then you won't have the backing of this sheet. But there are other backings that you could use, but I wanted the backing of this. And then I embossed the background with the, I don't know what this is called. the ruffled embossing folder. I don't have it, so I've borrowed it from a friend. But on this one, I've embossed it with the ruffles going down this way. And then on this one, I've embossed it with the ruffles going this way. Just to show a bit of a difference. And that's something then is on the back. This is in the annual catalogue, Sandy. I'll just go grab my catalogue. So this is, I think Kerry, you chose this as your last quarterly prize. And when it came in the mail then, I'm like, oh, I need that. And I still haven't ordered it. Cascading Ruffles. Me of Bamboo. Oh. So Cascading Ruffles 3D is what this one is. And I've embossed the paper, both portrait and landscape. And it works just fine. So we're going to just stick this. Now, because it is embossed, I am going to stick it on all 4 sides. Stick the adhesive on all 4 sides, I mean. Just to make sure it's got good coverage. Just find sometimes when it's got the impressions on it, it lifts a little bit if you don't have good coverage. And so I'll stick adhesive on all 4 sides of this paper as well, to make sure that that really sticks down to the unevenness of the paper. The adhesive queen. Usually I only do two sides of adhesive, but when it's embossed I do 4. So I've just stuck that on there. Now with these ones, I've chosen, obviously because the paper that I've got behind there, I wanted to choose some of the blue, the Starry Night and Orchid Oasis flowers. And then I've got a white contrasting one in the middle. So if you use some of the other paper, like if you were to use the backing of this paper, so if you postage stamped one of them and then use this as your strip, then you could choose the pink flowers. And they would complement each other then too. So you could change up the colours to fit. And then this is Rich Razzleberry. There's another pattern paper in there, so you could do that with Rich Razzleberry as well. Oh, thanks, Marnie. So I'm going to stick these on with dimensionals. And then I find it easier if you stick the middle one down first and center that. I just eyeball, but center that, and then you are kind of more even. Nice idea. Oh, it's not my idea, Laura. I found it on Pinterest, but I thought it was a fabulous idea and less fussy cutting, and it works out really well. You just need to trim the last row of flowers off first, quite close, and then kind of start. Works a treat. I did 1 page and I've got the 6 flowers there. 9, 12, 18, 21, 24. I got 24. Hi, Marcel. Oh, that's all right. I didn't get a chance to drop your parcel off this afternoon. Hopefully tomorrow I will do that. So then I need to do a sentiment on this one. So what did I do on the last one? To an Incredible Woman. So the sentiments are from the Hydrangea Haven. This is a set in the annual catalogue. It's got some really nice small sentiments that work amazing go for it, Laura, that work with this punch. And this is my new favourite punch. Where is my stand? Here. So then we're going to ink up with Starry Night. I love a double duty punch that does the layering and the border. And it makes sentiments so easy, especially when the DSP is doing, I've got dimensional backings everywhere. When the DSP is doing a lot of the work, you don't need a big, bulky sentiment. So we'll just pop that one away in there. I think I'm just going to let that dry, and I'm just going to clean up these dimensionals so they don't all end up on the floor. I need to look at getting one of those like under shelf bin things, I think. Although then I don't know that I have enough room for my legs, but it would make cleaning up a little bit easier. Some dimensionals. Now, I thought I kept that roll of ribbon out. I must have put it away because I need to tie a bow. Oh no, Julie, that's no good. This ribbon is called the Glittered Organdy ribbon. It's in the annual catalogue. It's very pretty and sparkly. I like it. Just pop that there and tie a ribbon, tie a bow with the ribbon. I do find it's a bit hard to tie a small bow with this ribbon, though. Oh, is that a new punch? It's been around a little while, but it might be new to you, Marcel. So I've used 2 punches on this card. Here. So this is the rectangle stamp, postage stamp punch that I have punched out the flowers from the DSP with, so I haven't had to fussy cut them. And then this punch for the sentiment is a double duty punch, so it does the layering plus the actual sentiment strip in the one punch. So both are in the annual catalogue. Where did I put that? I have an underhang. Oh, Laura, I'd have to check it out. Where did you get it from? I should know this stuff before I come on, but I just don't. Okay, so the postage stamp punch is $34, and the oval punch, double oval punch, is $34 as well. So they're both in the annual catalogue. The base card, is it A4 paper folded in half? It is half, so I get 2 card bases, Sandy, out of a piece of A4, and then I get 4 layering pieces. So the green piece, I get 4 out of them of a A4 piece, and the card bases, I get 2 out of an A4 piece. So once I make my next card, I'll show you what I do. So that's that card. And then let's do, so have I got white here? Basic white. So out of this Pear Pizzazz piece, this is a normal piece of A4 cardstock. To get my card base, because I only do like one fold normally, unless I'm specifically making cards. But when I cut up my whole pack of white for my card bases, I do it all this way. So it's 10.5 or like 4 1/4. It's not quite 4 1/4. I use 10.5 for half of it lengthways, which I usually only use centimeters, but it's 10.5 inches, but it's 10.5 this way, and then turn it and have the long way up the top, and I cut it at 5 7/8, and that gets me 2 card bases out of that. And then my layering pieces, I cut at 5 3/4, and then cut the next piece at 5 3/4. So this is what I do when I cut classes. I sit here and just cut these to start with. I have that strip that I throw in the bin. I turn these around, cut these at 4 inches. Cut these at 4 inches. Done. So that is 2 card bases and 4 layering pieces out of 2 sheets of cardstock. So you might not be able to see it, but that fits in there with an 1/8 of an inch border around it, and that's what I use for my layers. And so when I do my card class packs up, I always do them up in 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 packs, because I have less cardstock wastage that way, and I sell off old card packs at a later date usually. Yes, I do have my new trimmer out, Julie, because I ran out of blades on my old one finally, so I can bring my new one out, and I love it. I should have done it earlier, but was trying to use up all my blades of my old trimmer. So this is the next card, or the last card that we're making. And so this is a Z fold card. And so with this one, it's a normal size card base to start with. And then you just fold it back on itself. So line it up with the edge and get your bone folder. And so there is your normal size card base. And so this one is using the new, well, they're not new, they're new to me, Deckled Rectangles. So these are in the book too, and your book. I only just got these on my order on Friday. It arrived. So these Deckled Rectangles, I'll show you, got them. They're $53 and you get all different sizes in them. But I'll get them out because I've got them here. Dun-dun. So sometimes I have issues with these shaped dies because they don't fit very well on Australian size card bases. They work well on American size card bases. These are not too bad. So the biggest one, it fits width-wise, and there is just a bigger border at the top and the bottom, but you could make yourself have a shorter card and it would fit really nicely, but at least it fits with our width, because American size cards are fatter and shorter than ours. So yes, I keep forgetting to order them, Laura, so I was super excited that I finally remembered to order them and they've come in. And so then this one I think makes a great border on Australian size card bases. So that one I will use a lot because it gives a nice even border with my size card base straight up. And I can't remember what one I used on this card. I think it was this size. Nope, that's too small. It was this one. Yep. So it was the fourth one in from the outside that gave me this size. And so when you do this, you just cut 2 of the same one. And that gets you your little borders. And they're so pretty. I was so happy when they arrived. Because as soon as I saw the catalogue, I knew I wanted them. But because they don't coordinate with any stamp sets or anything, I just keep forgetting to order them. And I finally remembered. I used a large one and cut 1/2 inch off the bottom of the base. That would work quite well. If you did that, Laura, it would sit there nicely on Australian size card bases then. Okay, so we're just going to glue this paper down. I can get rid of this paper now because I'm not doing any more background stamping. So that will get rid of some of the shine. And then this piece goes on the front. On there. And then when you stick the front one on, you just need to put adhesive on one side, and I kind of center it. Then when I stick the next one on, put adhesive on both sides. And there's probably an easy way of doing this, but I then line it up with this bit and then flip it over so that then it kind of covers that on there. We'll do the stamping. So this says, I appreciate all the little things you do. And I'm going to stamp this one in Starry Night. Oh, it's so easy. I love fancy fold cards, but I also love fancy fold cards that use a normal size card base so that I can still be quite frugal with my cardstock. And especially if I try and replicate that in a class. Oh, night, Marnie. It's not going to cost a fortune for me to organise the class supplies. So, close that up, clean this ink. What's the stamp set you are using? So I'm using Hydrangea Haven for all the sentiments, because this stamp set comes with the paper, and I use the floral images from here for the first card, but it doesn't come with any sentiments. So the sentiments that I'm using are all coming from Hydrangea Haven, which is in the annual catalogue. So it's been around for a while, but I really like it because it's got heaps of sentiments in it, and the majority of them fit on this punch. It's amazing. This is my new favourite punch. It does come with dies too, but I think because it's been around for a little while, it's not a bundle anymore, so you don't save 10%. But there is dies that you can purchase that cut this stuff out. I've had it for a long time. Good when you get an oldie but a goodie back out again. So we're gonna pop that up, and we're gonna stick some of this under here again. Is that enough? Nope. I'm going to cut those bottom bits off because that looks a bit funny when they're sticking out like that. I'm just going to trim them off a little bit. Pop these up. Oh, I was going to say, didn't I have an opened pack already? Stick some on the back of that. Now, stick some adhesive on this. And then stick that over there. And then I did finish this one off with these. I did finish the other one off with these little gems. The little yellow sparkly gem. I had 3 in that one. Oh, and I put some Winker Stella on the flowers. Let's do that to make them pop. I love my Winker Stella. I think I might need to get another one out. So I don't know whether you can see this, but now I'm having more dye supply. It's what I'm here for, Julie. What's that pen, please? Ah, Sandy, this is a Winker Stella pen. I thought you'd be all over this. This just puts glitter on everything. So, I don't know, can you see that sparkle on there now? There's a sparkle on the flower. And I watercolour with this too, because I'm not very good with aqua painters. So I watercolour with this, which is what I was doing with my pink ink pad. So, let me get, oh, sorry if you can see my belly. So this paper from the Abigail Rose paper, I've been painting with Flirty Flamingo or Blushing Bride or whatever colour. You get your Winker Stella. So it's got alcohol in it and glitter. And if you actually get your ink pad and go like this and then use this, then you won't have glitter in the end of your ink pad. But I usually just go straight to the ink pad, which is why I've got glitter there. And you can swirl this around and then paint your flowers. And I can control this more than I can control the aqua painters. I'm not very talented with the aqua painters, but I feel much more comfortable doing it with this. And you can do this on normal cardstock. You don't need the fluid cardstock or anything like that because it is alcohol, so it dries quickly. Whereas with the water, you kind of need the fluid paper to so the paper doesn't pill so much because you've got so much water on there. Yes, Sandy. Oh, I've got about 4 or 5 of these on the go. And then, so this gets a bit pink on the end because I'm currently using pink. Hi, Matthew. And you just on some scrap paper. So where's this? If you did on white, you'd see it a bit more. But you just, and then the tip goes clear and I can then now put that in yellow and, oh, and it'd be okay. So, and you can see the sparkle. I don't know whether you can see the sparkle on there more. but this is what I have and how I colour most of my stuff with a Wink of Stella pen, because I just find I've got more control over it than I do with aqua painters and things. So with my Flowers of Friendship class that we're doing next weekend, I have said that you will need then buying all the Wink of Stella colours. Oh no, Samantha. Yes, Wink of Stella is amazing, guys. I use it all the time. Maybe I don't use it enough on videos. I just use it all the time. So maybe I've never shown it on videos. I can't remember what I do on videos. But yeah, I use this to colour, and then you can change whatever colour you want. So this is, Stampin' Up! Only sell the clear Wink of Stella, and as Samantha said, other companies do sell different colours. But in saying that, like I've had a gold Wink of Stella because Stampin' Up! Used to sell the gold one, and I just found it really hard to use on certain things, whereas the clear one is so much easier to use. And because the gold one often would come out yellow sometimes. And if you had gold embossing, you had to have the right gold, otherwise it looked a bit funny and things. So now we only sell the clear, and it's just much easier to use. So I'll show you where it is in the catalogue while I'm finishing that. But it would be in the tools section. I think a Wink of Stella is a master for watercolouring because I'm hopeless with the aqua painters. So I'm much happier with the Wink of Stella, and it does give your end picture a little bit of sparkle, and who doesn't love sparkle? I put bling on everything. So I'm just trying to find it in here. It'll be with the tools section, of course. I just don't want an ink pad on my thing. I think it's $11.50 or $13.50. I can't remember. Here, Wink of Stella, number 5. I struggled with the coloured Wink of Stella. Yes, the clear one is so much better. Number 5 here. Oh, $14. Clear Wink of Stella on page 128 of the annual catalogue, ladies and Matthew. It is a must-have. I have about 2 or 3 of them, and you can refill them. There is like a little hole somewhere where you can, because when you first get them, you will have a black bit here. I don't know whether I probably have an unopened one somewhere. I think I do have one. I've got 2 unopened ones. Look at that. So when you get your brand new one, it will have, oh, it's got a clear lid now. Interesting. You'll have a black bit here. You need to open it, take the lid off, just pull the lid and then unscrew it, and then you need to take this bit off and you put this on, and there's like a little pin that will then go in here and pierce, so that then when you squeeze, to see with this one, you can see that there's glitter down here. This one is clean. You need to squeeze to get glitter down, and then once it's there, it will start moving and coming out in the brush. But you can refill these with like a doctor's needle thing with alcohol and stuff like that. You need to get the liquid into there somehow, because there's heaps and heaps of glitter in here still when the liquid is gone. But I love them. I use them all the time. Obviously just not enough on videos. Do you not have one either, Lisa? Oh, okay. So, yeah. They're my cards tonight and my little tutorial on Wink of Stella. So these, let's make some room here because I've made such a mess now. Any particular alcohol? I usually use Icicle for that. That's fine. But if you want to do the alcohol with the blowing of the inks, you need isopropyl that is like more, that's 90% alcohol or something. But Icicle is quite fine with these. But if you want the ink to be moving and do those alcohol ink backgrounds and stuff on vellum, you need isopropyl, which is like 90% alcohol, because Icicle is only like 60% alcohol. So there's these ones. Then these ones, then these ones. So now I have 6 Mother's Day cards ready for next year. So thank you, ladies. And I look forward to all your orders of Wink of Stella now. But yes. If you've got any more questions, just let me know and I'll hopefully answer them. And see you all next week. Oh, next week's pub holiday in Brisbane. I will try to be on, but I may forget because if I'm not working, I may not be on. So it's the show holiday for Logan on Monday. So I may forget. If not, I will be on. So I'll try and remember. But it's easier to remember when I go to work on the day. So when I'm not at work, it's a bit hard to remember to do the live. But, so I may or may not see you next week. But I'll catch you next time. Thanks everyone for joining.